Now here, Mridu was startled by the creaking sound which was coming from the window, and she wanted to see Lalli playing violin. So Mridu she crept up to the window, and she saw Lalli was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. Bony figure means that master was not healthy, he was thin, opposite to healthy, and his bones could be seen very easily. So he was a bony figure, and he had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears, and had an old-fashioned tuft. Okay, so that person master was half bald. He didn't have hair over here. He had a small tuft means a small pony kind of a thing, which old kind of people, especially Brahmins, they used to have over here. So he was like that. His whatever the hair was remaining, it was oiled, but the hair was black. Okay, and a gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck. So he was wearing gold chain, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down on the stem of the violin. So as he was moving his the stem of the violin, his ring which he was wearing, it was sparkling, it was glittering, diamond ring. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold-bordered veshti edge. So veshti means dhoti. Okay, from the golden-bordered veshti edge, anyone can see the large foot was coming, and he was tapping on the ground as he was playing the music. While listening to music, we tap on the ground with our foot. So he was doing the same thing, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. Scrawny. Did you remember in the first part of this chapter we had dealt with this word scrawny. Scrawny, that means it is related to that chappal, those slippers which Mridu was surprised to see. That means those chappals belong to this master. Okay. He played a few notes. Lalli stumbled behind him on her violin. Stumbled means she followed haltingly because she was learning, and suddenly her master, he changed the tune. So she stumbled and she tried to follow. Oh, this way, I have to play. Oh, like this, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hand. That violin looked unhappy in her hand. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along. As Ravi said, Mridu stared at that huge bee-ringed hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. This was master's description how he was playing. He was effortlessly playing, very perfectly playing the violin. Squawk! There was Lalli derailing again. Now Lalli had started playing that violin again. It was unbearable. Meanwhile, Amma, a call wailed from the gate. Amma, oh! That means someone was calling to Rukkumani from the gate. Ravi, send that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda, where she was chatting with Tapi. Now here, Rukkumani, Ravi's mother, she called Ravi and she told to let that beggar go away. She didn't want that beggar to be there in their courtyard. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from. Pati explained to Tapi. Now these two grannies, they were talking, having a chat, and Pati told Tapi that this is a beggar. For the past week he is coming, and he had all food from us, and now he had found another house for him to beg for. So let him go. Why to make him stay over here? Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze. Snooze means a short sleep. Okay, so Ravi, who had gone to just make that, just to drag that beggar out, but that beggar had already come in the courtyard, and there was a neem tree, and he was supposed to take a short sleep. Okay, he was ready to take a short sleep over there as usual. Okay, and when Ravi came over there, while he waited for the alms to come, alms means money. Every day he visited that house because he used to get alms, money from Rukumani. But when Rukumani came to know that he had found another home to beg, so she refused that day. So she wanted that beggar to go away. Okay, so that person was waiting for alms. Go away, said Ravi sternly. My Pati says it's time you have found another house to beg from. You have found another house? Go away. We are not willing to give you any money. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. So he opened his eyes and he started looking the children who were standing around him. The ladies of this house, he said at last in a voice choking with feeling. He was becoming so emotional. The ladies of this house are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. So he didn't believe that the ladies of that house would turn him away, would let him go, was fed up of him. He raised his voice. Amma! Amma, oh! Sad his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came out, booming out of his mouth, and with its few remaining teeth stained brown with beetle and chewing. Chewing. Beetle chewing means some people have the habit of chewing that beetle leaf. Pan, we call it pan. So because of that, your teeth get stained of red and yellowish color. So his teeth were like that. Ravi, tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen, called Rukumani. Rukumani ordered Ravi to tell him, that beggar, that there is nothing left in the kitchen. And he is not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. She was fed up of that beggar. And she said he should not come away. Just tell him that. Ravi didn't have to say or repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. Oh. So here, beggar was fed up, and he finally made up his mind to leave that house. Poor thing, poor creature, that he had to leave that house without having a single morsel or food to eat, not even money. Poor person.